Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Be the CEO of Your Life live show. And I'm very excited because today we have an amazing guest, and I'm gonna introduce you to her, Dr. Rowena Winkler. Hi, how are you?
Hi, Ron. Good to see you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. For those of you who are just tuning in, I just quickly want to introduce you to the Be the CEO of Your Life show, which is a show brought to you by Amaze Yourself International Coaching, where we help driven business owners who crave more time to get exactly that, to free up their time so they can enjoy life. And that's what today's show is all about. How can you save time and how can you enjoy life? Rowena, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yes, thank you. I'm Dr. Rowena Winkler, and I am called the Inner Muse Mentor. Now, what does that mean? For me, the inner muse is that voice inside, that energy that is just dying to come out. It is that intuitive hit when it comes to what you're meant to do in regards to your career, to your life. But what ends up happening is as recovering perfectionists or as folks that are conditioned or programmed to check all the boxes and how all the external validation in our lives, that inner muse, that true self is diminished and is small. And so the work that I do as a coach is that I use mindset strategies, confidence building tools, and spiritual modalities including astrology, human design, and tarot to help women find that voice and activate their true zone of genius.
Oh, I love that. I love Zone of Genius because that's something else, isn't it? Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's amazing. So, before we go there, not everybody knows what a zone of genius is. So, can you explain real quick? Because it's quite important, I feel, because I see so many people who aren't operating from their zone of genius. So, tell me, what is it?
Yeah. So here's the thing, a lot of us, when it comes to work, we're doing what we're really great at, but there isn't that element of passion and you're not lit up when you do that, right? So when I talk to a lot of my clients, this seems to be the case that they're in a job or they're doing work where they're really skilled at the work that they're doing, but there's no fire, there's no passion. So for me, the zone of genius is that sweet spot where you're able to do what you're good at, what you're passionate about, and then hopefully too what brings in some revenue if you're hoping to make a living, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, that for me is that beautiful sweet spot of that zone of genius.
yeah, I love it. I use it in my coaching as well. And I see many people unknowingly settle for less because they feel, well, this is what I'm great at, so why would I do anything else? And
Yeah.
often your zone of genius is also bringing you a bit out of your comfort zone because, especially when you still have to discover it. And there comes what you do, of course. Who am I to take this stage? And can I really do this? And then all these gremlins walk in and tell you not to do it, but that's where you help them out.
Absolutely. Yeah. I call it that inner saboteur, right? That Ariana Huffington in one of her books talks about it as a roommate, so an annoying roommate who just won't leave and is in your ear telling you that you're not good enough or why are you doing that? But you're absolutely right, Yvonne. It is pushing, past all of that imposter syndrome and fear and being able to meet yourself to your edge, because once you get there you're able to launch yourself into another level of greatness, which, as you and I both know, once you get there it's so transformative.
Yeah, I love that.
Hmm.
So tell us, why do you do what you do?
Ooh, okay, how much time do you have? No, I'm just kidding. So why do I do what I do? Well, the I would say the easiest answer, the short answer of it all is I had my daughter in March 2020, literally days before the world shut down due to COVID-19. And I had my little girl after many years of trying to get pregnant and after going through in vitro fertilization. So it was a very challenging, emotionally stressful time. And now I have this beautiful, now 2.5-year old to role model exactly this, being able to step into my power and to no longer let the fear get in the way of going for my dreams and being in that zone of genius, which is using my gifts and talents to help and uplift other women to achieve that same level of greatness. And so she's a huge reason why I do what I do. Another big catalyst moment or milestone moment that really shifted everything for me was the death of my father in 2013. So back then, I was a tenure track professor. I got my PhD from the University of Maryland. I was teaching classes, but I knew something that, again, that inner muse, right? Something just wasn't feeling right. Something wasn't feeling in alignment for me. And when my dad died and seeing everything he went through, he had cancer, and seeing the reflections that he had as he was approaching the end of his life was so it was a game changer for me in terms of what's important and what do I want to do in this lifetime? What is my legacy?
Yeah.
And so that motivated me to leave academia and to try something different, even though I was super scared and uncomfortable. But as you said, right? I met myself to that edge and I went for it. And now looking back on it all, it was totally meant to be.
I love that. Yeah, it's interesting how often we need kind of a life changing moment for us to come to realize that we've got more to do.
Yeah.
Um, it's what I see with my clients as well. Often we do, those exercises where you take those life changing moments and you actually the journey of the hero, and you actually see how they impact you. And very often we kind of either downplay it or we downplay what we did in that great moment. But when you go back and you revisit it and you actually feel it again, it can have such a positive impact on the rest of your career and how you behave. So I love that it came to you and that you immediately took action. It's amazing to hear, very inspirational.
Thank you so much. And I also love the hero's journey archetype as well. It's a great reminder that yeah, sometimes we go through that valley, right? That shadow aspects of our lives, those challenges, but honestly, when we come out the other side, we're stronger than ever, and it really is that story that attracts people to us. It's what people resonate with.
Yeah.
Excuse me, because if our lives were perfect, where's the lesson and learning in that, and where's it's boring, right? So being able to share those aspects, I think, is really important.
I love that. Okay, so the one thing everybody wants to know, right? Now, how many years did you say it took you to get here?
Wow, that's a great question. I, honestly, it's a work in progress. I think
Yeah,
I'm still on that journey. I was just chatting with a friend and fellow entrepreneur about it. It's a sporadic process, right? You get to a point where you're like, yes, I'm owning it, I got this, and then you find yourself back again, you're like, wait, what happened? But again, I feel like that's the journey of life. And my business, my LLC, is Journey to Consciousness. we're
yeah.
just we're just going to continue to get awakened and awakened, and with things happening in life along the way. So gosh, I would say TBD. But no, it's been a process. I definitely see the progress I've made in the last 5 to 10 years or so, but I feel like there's still more to come and still more to learn.
Okay, well, I hear you. And it's like they say, right? Every level has its own devil.
Oh yeah.
That's my experience with my clients as well. They go like, "Ooh, I'm here." We celebrate and it's amazing. Oh my word! But then, the gremlins jump in again, and how do we get to the next level? But yeah, I hear you. But tell me, so my clients don't have 5 to 10 years, and then the people that listening, they want the shortcut. We all want the
Yeah.
shortcut. So tell us what's the number one tip? How can we save time, or how can we take some of your knowledge and make it easier for us to implement what you know?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I use a lot of spiritual modalities in my work, and one of those aspects deals with energy. Excuse me, sorry. I'm recovering from daycare crud for my little one.
Oh yay!
So when it comes to energy and energetic work,
You need a sip of water.
yeah. Woo, that's the first time that happened.
Well, I think what you're going to say is very important. So maybe that's why we need a bit
Make
more
room for
drum.
it.
You know, it's like a drum roll coming up now.
So what's really important is that not only are we supposed to engage in time management, but
Mm-hmm.
energetic management is just as important. I see myself as an empath
Yeah.
and a highly sensitive person. And
Mm-hmm.
when I realized that as that the seasons of my life, the weeks that go by, it's impacted by my energy levels. So for example, like I said, I'm recovering from a cold. Um, I wanted to do this today, so here I am. I'm working through it. I, I'm recovering from a cold. So yesterday, I spent most of the day in bed. And it's working through that and knowing that by resting, that I'm honoring myself and my energy. And that's going to save me time because I'm not fighting something to get my work done. There are days that I have a lot of meetings. And as an empath, I collect and I receive a lot of energy. So on those days, I don't schedule big projects. In addition, I also work, again, this is the astrology at work, right? By the energy of the planets, right? So Tuesday is considered Mars Day, and Mars is the planet of action. So launching, doing things productive for your business, that's another way that I save time is by looking at the energy within myself internally and how I'm operating in the day to day and where my energy levels are, in addition to astrologically, what is the planets energetically helping us to do as well. So I apologize for that there, but I hope that it came through clearly.
I think it's actually quite nice that it happened because it emphasizes your point more.
Yeah.
And I really value how you said, you weren't feeling great and you honored it by staying in bed. And you also knew that if you stayed in bed, that today you would be better. Because what happens, with a lot of the people that I work with is they are so used to pushing through, oh, I need to do this, la la la, the show must go on. So they never rest, or when they rest, they're still thinking about work. And that goes against everything. Whereas I really like the example you gave because it's so true. If you honor yourself and your energetics, you're actually more productive afterwards. So an amazing example for me.
Yeah, and a real life example, as y'all can see right here as I'm working through it. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, this has been an ongoing process for me. When it comes to human design, I'm a generator. So, what that means is I'm an energizer bunny. I like to go, 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 go. I'm also originally from New Jersey. So, New Jersey, USA. So, I have that Northeastern, that energy of hustle and grind. But here's the thing, you can only hustle and grind so much. In my life, I hustled and grind until I was extremely burnt out and I didn't want to do anything. So, by better managing my energy and my energetic levels, it's more sustainable. It's playing the long game versus the short game, right? It's
Yeah.
running the marathon versus the sprint. You have to maintain that energy in order to be able to do the bigger and better things. I hope that makes sense.
It for me it makes a lot of sense, and I think for everybody listening who wants to know more, I'm also going to quickly show where people can reach out to you, because it is very important to work with your energetics. And you know we I don't know, when I used to work a lot because I used to be a workaholic,
Yeah.
at the end of the day I would be drained. And the main reason why I was drained is because I wasn't paying attention to my energetics. I wasn't really planning so well. I must say, I personally don't work with astrology. So I really love that I now know that Tuesday is a productive day. It's also my most busiest day of the week. So I planned that right.
There you go. You knew it. Here's the
But
thing. Yeah, I feel that we all we all have intuition. We all have our intuitive muscle to know how we're feeling within our body and our spirit and our energy. It's just tapping into that and being able to exercise that muscle. We all have the capability to do that. I mean, you're a great example, Yvonne. You weren't aware of it, but once you were, you made the shift and now here you are.
yeah, Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's amazing. I like that a lot. And before we forget, because I think it's important,
Sure.
if people want to talk to you one on one, they can get a consultation with you, right? So tell us more before we go on.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you see scrolling below, my website is rowenawinkler.com. You'll see several areas where you can book what I call a catalyst call. It's a free 20-minute call where we can chat through what's going on with you, business, or what we're talking about today with energetics and time management and planning. I am here to serve and to help folks, yeah, be less burnt out, be less stressed, to get past that perfectionism and own our lives the way that they are, and being okay with perhaps the hiccups that come along the way, like coughing.
Okay, so this is what you help clients with, right? Now, I love the term be the CEO of your life, clearly. How do you feel you are the CEO of your life?
I'm the CEO of my life. I'm going to use a quote, if you don't mind. I'm going to use a quote that I use very often and I feel resonates with a lot of folks that I work with. And it's a quote that I've reworked a little bit from Ben Platt, who won the Tony Award for the musical Dear Evan Hansen. And the quote is this: "What makes you different makes you powerful. What makes you different makes you powerful." The way that I've become the CEO of my life is by owning my unique story, by owning the fact that I'm an immigrant child and that I was a perfectionist. I'm a recovering perfectionist, and that I've achieved a lot. I got my bachelor's, master's, and PhD in less than 10 years. I've won a lot of awards and accolades, but it wasn't until I owned the fact that I am a true multi-hyphenate, that I do work with astrology and I do have a PhD in communication. So I have a marketing and comm background, that I am a mom and that I am an entrepreneur. It was by embracing all those sides of me and then showing up intentionally, and in those moments of challenge or weakness, being intentional with that vulnerability, in sharing my story and not being afraid of the fact that I'm human and that we're all going on this journey, and that it's not going to be perfect, but that we're perfect in our imperfections, and that I'm going to own it and step up and have that visibility and have that authenticity, because authenticity is really important for me as well. And if you're a perfectionist, authenticity is just not possible, because when you're perfect, you're a robot, and we're not robots. We're
No.
humans.
Yeah.
So that's how I've owned being a CEO. And I love that as well. I love being a CEO of your life, because at the end of the day, you know what's best for you. We're coaches, we're here to help you with that time compression, to help you gain those answers, but inside what is going to be best for you and for your life, and what's going to be your zone of genius, and what's going to help you provide that impact that a lot of us hope to do while we're on this planet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally agree. I think to really be the CEO of your life, you need to be proud of who you are, and it's proud of everything. Proud of the imperfect you. Because if I also think that perfect is really boring. Because nothing is wrong. I mean, I don't know, but it's almost like a everything is right, but not that's not real life. So I totally agree. I think we all need to embrace our quirks, and that's actually what we often love about people. Because think about it, the people that you look up to, the people that you think, oh, those are inspirations, you often like them because they overcame something, or there is something different about them. So why don't you embrace your differences and make them, help you to stand out? I really like that. So yeah, I think this is a great note for us to end today. Is there anything you want to add before we wrap it up?
No, I just want to thank you again for this conversation, and thank you all for embracing the challenges of, having a toddler who goes to daycare and brings home a lot of different sicknesses. I really enjoyed this conversation though, and I think it's so important for us as humans, as parents, as business owners, as whatever you want to be, folks, that honoring your energy and tapping into that intuitive muscle, as I mentioned, to have more of an awareness of your energy is going to enable you to live out a beautiful life so much more. So thank you so much. I really appreciate this conversation.
Thank you, Rowena, and thank you all for watching and listening. Stay tuned because you are amazing, and don't you forget about it.